And then, when I go to the hospital, everybody becomes two-faced. Including me. And it's not that I become two-faced, people, because when you do YouTube videos and you talk about stuff like this and you know that it pisses people off or whatever, right? You know, it goes back to that, you know, suffering in silence. You know, that's what abusive people like other people to do if they're being, you know, the abusive people abuse people, and the people that they're abusing, they expect them to stay silent and not talk about the abuse. Because if you do, the abuse gets better. That's documented. That shit happens all the time, right? And there are like workplace politics that kind of operate on the same fucking level, right? You're either part of the problem and join my crowd, or we're going to abuse you, right? Until you stay quiet. But the thing is, even if you stay quiet, they're still going to abuse you. So I say what I say, and I just go out in the community and fucking deal with it. Them, if they're watching, or it's in the file. It's in the file, people. The files follow you, and they like to merge them together when it's convenient for them. So it benefits them to have Sierra raging through the hospital on a regular basis with untreated medical conditions. Because when it gets to court, or if it gets to the premier's desk, or whatever it gets to, sooner or later these people are going to have to be answering to some of the things that they've done. But not if they can deflect and say, oh, but here, look at Sierra Charney. Look how she acts. She is the representation of a bad mother. Because if the mother would have been doing the mother's job, Sierra wouldn't be the way Sierra is today, because people like to blame the mother when it's convenient for them. Right? I'm not the one that brought in shitloads, truckloads of methamphetamine into the province of British Columbia, Canada, back in 2002. I'm not the person who did that. But my daughter suffered the consequences of that, people. While the healthcare system benefits through that ledger where they're, you know, using pharmacare numbers to overbill, practice defensive medicine, and commit fraud by, one, housing people like Uncle John who didn't need to be housed for 4 months, regardless of whether it was in a hospital setting in terms of a bed, like in a room, or if it was in the emergency ward, like when they took him over from here to Victoria. They took him from here and straight to the emergency ward, and then said, look how we found him. Basically, have it on video, people. And because the sister worked there and everybody fucking knew her, like everybody knows Sierra, the only difference is John's sister is reputable, right? Because she helped write the codes and the mandate and how to restrain people. That was her role in that committee that she was on. Was to figure out how to fucking restrain people under this code, that code, and that code. So that's why John got free housing for 4 months within a healthcare system that was eventually paid for by the taxpayers through some ledger that was overbilling for something that he didn't need. Which is fraud, people. Just like they were doing fraud with Shimei, as they were accusing her of being a drug addict, who basically deserved it. That was the nurse's words. She should have known better. That was the cop's words. She should have known better. They're not my words. Like I said, don't eat garlic. Okay, people. My head is so hurts. I just took 2 Tylenol. It should work. Alright, if you take 3, you get sleepy. I can't afford to get sleepy right now. And all I'm thinking about as I'm doing this is, now I have to go to the hospital. I'm going to phone first. I'm going to make sure that Sierra's there. Or have Tisha call and find out how she's doing. But I have to do this, people, because if I don't do this, like, my energy level is... It is what it is. And, this is applesauce. This is good food. Alright? I'm going to be making applesauce for a while. I'm going to try and do 5 more jars of juice at some point. But after these are 1 pint size jars. After this, the next batch of applesauce are two or three batches of applesauce. I'm going to just do quart size jars. But today I'm doing half pint. Or I'm sorry, today I'm doing a pint jar, right? I've got 8 of them in there. So it should be enough for this pot anyway. We'll find out how many we get. And then I'm going to go straight into the plums, because I don't want those plums to spoil, right? And I'm going to finish that. And then I'm going to... And I'm already tired with a headache. And my eyes hurt, people. Remember, I asked for a referral and I never got it, right? So, what I want is the drops. I want a prescription for the drops. Right? And try that out again for a while. You know. Because my eyes are getting worse, right? And sometimes they hurt. But I ignore it. Until I won't be able to ignore it anymore. And then that's probably when I'll learn to play piano, assuming that I'm still alive. So anyway, I don't know how I'm going to go to the hospital with a headache or not feeling well by the time I'm done all this. Going into a hostile environment, right? With people playing games. They've already got their little skit ready before I even show up. And they'll be with their digs. Oh, your other daughter died of an overdose too, right? Another Miss Chorney, right? Runs in the family, huh? Right? That's how they do it. What kind of lousy mother have you been all these years? Okay, so now it's the waiting game. I'm waiting for the jars to finish boiling. And I put just 2 cups of sugar in this big pot of applesauce, which is really good. I'm just bringing up the heat a little bit. You've got to keep stirring it, right? Watch this doesn't bubble up and spit up at you. Right? I've been thinking that after I'm all done with this stuff, which won't be for a while yet, because I want to do those potatoes and stuff. I thought after it's all said and done, and I'm not basically canning anymore, I thought that I could do at least 1 month, maybe 2, of videos where I am using nothing but food storage for my meals. Right? Just to kind of walk you through how it does work. If you were in a financial crunch, which I am in a financial crunch, I'm just in denial about it, right? Like, for example, I have to pay CIBC Bank $650 by the end of the month because I missed 1 payment, people. And then they're going to bill me for October another $325. So, anyway, let me back. funny how my wrist hurts over doing something as simple as this. I've done this too many times over the years, and it really hurts, and I'm not left-handed, so I can't, there's no precision with my left hand, but my right hand so hurts. I guess it's because I'm peeling and stuff all the time too. It's not just using a ladle. The ladle instigates it, and obviously my right hand is stronger, right? And when I write, if I write for long periods of time, handwrite on paper, it starts to hurt. You remember that when you were younger, you guys? You have to write a story. All right. And go faster with the right hand. I have better dexterity with it. So basically it's about a 1/4 cup. Oh, what am I talking about? 1/4 inch from the rim, and it looks like I'm going to have too much here. I'm not going to get it all into one jar, but that's okay. What little left over, I'll just save it for the kids and start fresh again, right? And then the next jars, I'm going to get into quart-sized jars. Right. And then near the end, depending on how many quart-sized jars I get, what do you call it? I can go back into half pints. Right, because there's still at least a quart in there. That's okay. I'm not gonna boil unless I save it. When I do the plum sauce, I can always can it then. I can put it in a smaller pot and reheat it up, right? And boil it. Depends. I got 8.5 cups of pureed, what is it called? Yellow plums, which after these are done in the canner, I'm going to pull out the pot and I'm going to start getting ready to cook them up. Right. So basically what we're doing right now is we're just phoning the hospital, and they said call back so we can talk to the doctor, so we'll see what the doctor has to say. Right. I'm going to try and find my way down there later. But like I said, before I do that, I kind of have to do this stuff first. Alright. That's about right. You can see it's about a 1/4 inch. Alright, this one's a little low. And then you wipe your rims. Hold on a minute. Okay, so Andre and I were going to the other pear tree and apples and whatnot, but before we go, I just want to point out these beautiful yellow flowers. I so love them, people. They're just like so gorgeous. Hummingbirds love them too. There's that little house. Not so little anymore, though, eh? I wouldn't even consider that to be a family home. Those are not family homes. There's Dad, though. He's still out there working. Hey, Dad. Yeah. House. It's not his fault, people. It's not his fault. Oh, there's I'm doing something here, pipe cleaning. Okay, hold on. Okay, I don't have a lot of time on this camera because of this battery. This is untouched territory by these developers as of today. But you know these trees aren't going to last very long. Andre likes to swing on this one.
Yeah.
That's a horse chestnut tree. But right now what we're doing is we're going to this pear tree over here to see what's going on with it.
Oh,
because
and look, that's the pear I tried to climb on today.
Yeah, because pears are good for Amari. Pears, right? Easy to digest. Oh, there's lots of them on here, people. Oh my God. Well, they haven't fell yet. That's good. That gives me time.
To pick them?
No, it gives me time to continue working on the, what is it called? Unless somebody's out here already eating them. It looks like maybe...
I did find an old one.
Anyway, hold on a minute. Yeah, there's some really good blackberries here.
Oh my God.
So... Oh no, they're big and juicy. I got spider webs all over me.
Mama.
So anyway, these are pretty still green. I think I'm just gonna leave them for now. And maybe come back.
It says, people, these blackberries are ready. Like, look at all of them.
There's lots, so maybe we'll come tomorrow. And we'll pick them because if you can see, they're big and juicy. Oops.
Yeah.
Look how big they are. Untouched territory. Like, they're really good. So... either we're going to come back later on today and get them, or we're going to get them tomorrow.
We should come back later on today.
We'll see. I have to go out. I'm still doing stuff. This is really good. But there's no point in picking these yet, because they're quite green. So hold on. So, is that a maple tree, people?
It is.
That looks like a maple leaf to me.
Yeah,
You
I'm
could
gonna eat some
probably
blackberries,
tap
okay?
into this tree.
No, I'm going to eat some blackberries.
Yeah, here it is right here. This is what I have on mine. Only mine are more. Right? And, what do you call it? Norway maple, you don't get as much, what is it called? Syrup? Or is it not as sweet?
I found the biggest, awesomest one.
I think this here, this is a maple tree. Not so much a Norway maple. Norway maple, not as sweet as the maple. You get more syrup. But the maple tree, which I think this is what this is, if you tap into it, it's very sweet, but slightly less syrup in terms of by the time you finish done processing it. But you'd have to tap into it, right? And guess what I found?
A walnut.
And what kind of tree is it, did you say?
English walnut.
That's an English walnut. That is, people. That's an English walnut tree under the maple tree. I'm looking for maple trees to see if maybe something caught here, right? Here's another one, Andre. Here's another one. So we're going to come back and dig these guys up before they get trampled over. So that's two. So I'm going to dig those up. So when we come back, but I'm wanting to see if maybe one of these trees.
Is maple?
Yeah, well, I'm picking up their little. Don't step on the trees, right? I'm picking up these little things. I'm going to try and throw them in the dirt and see what we get. Okay? And I just wanted to point that out, that we got now two English walnuts here, and probably more.
Now look, and then nobody will see them.
Well, no, we're going to dig them up and put them in planter pots and bring them home, and then we're going to try and find homes for them. Hold on. What was I saying?
You're saying I can't find a tree? But I did?
But you did, eh?
You want me to get some weeds?
No, it's okay. I got some.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I can see everything from up here.
You can see everything from up there, eh?
Yeah, tons of leaves.
Tons of leaves.
And some homes for some spiders, too.
You can get me some of those leaves right by your hand.
These?
Yeah. And we'll press them, and we'll look in our tree book and see if we can distinguish this plant. And if it's a
How many?
maple tree,
I'll
maybe
get you
next year we can try and tap it.
2, 2.
That would be interesting. I want to tap my Norway maple in the front. Okay. All right, that's good. Okay, you can come down now.
Okay.
We're gonna leave. How you gonna do it?
My easy way.
Hmm?
My easy way. Ginormous.
Yeah. Do you see how they're cutting down the walnut trees, people?
And I saw them.
I'm planting, and they're cutting.
I'll walk around, okay? Here, can you
Oh, yeah.
Looks like I might have to go in there.
Oh, my God, people. It was right there. Like, why are they doing this?
Okay.
It so upsets me.
No, I said you do the story.
Okay, no, you do this. What are we doing?
No, I don't want to. You do it.
Well, what are we doing?
No, you do it.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm getting walnuts from a tree that was cut down. Right?
Yep. Yep.
As they're cutting them down, Nana's trying to grow them.
Yeah. Ready? Right. Oh, here's one.
See? Look. Right? I don't know if it's because they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think.
And
I think that's it.
I think it's black and gooey, and they're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. They don't realize that it's organic walnuts. Okay, you can turn it off because there's not much room on the camera. Okay, battery is almost dead here. Anyway, we're taking home. I'm making art with this, people. That's English walnut. So, teaches Andre how to get things home when you feel like you can't do it. You take it in batches. Keep pulling.
What's going on?
Come on, you're strong. This was the light one. It's mostly leaves. Keep on going. Keep going that way. I'm proud of him. When he's older, he'll remember this, people. Right? Hey, I don't know how much. There's still one over there. Go get it. How much time is left on here? But we're halfway home now. Hurry up. Come on. I'm carrying the heavy one. And this will make nice walnut rounds. Right? I was out there the other, what, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Whew. Everybody watching us. Watching us. Wondering why we're dragging wood. That one lady said, don't leave that there. I said, I'm not leaving it there. I'm taking it home. Okay, so this battery's going to kick out any minute here. Do you see it? This is how money is being laundered through the province of British Columbia, Canada. I'm telling you, people, Shimei's death is building houses, right? As rich people are assembling these properties one after another, bringing in genocide into the country of Canada. Okay.
Ow! Oh my God!
That's what you do. You get back up on the horse.
What I always do? Geronimo! Oh, they have a...
Okay, back in my favorite corner, people. So here's what's happening. Amari is in his leg brace. He's been like fussing for like since last week, people. Anyway, I just got back from getting 4 apples that fell off the tree. But Andre and we took a detour to another walnut tree, which are bigger nuts, people. Do you see the difference? This is a standalone little tree. We've got a little bag here. I'm going to do these ones right away in the next day or two, and I'm going to put them in the fridge right away. You have to let them dry, let the shell dry, and then put them in the fridge, because these ones that came from that other tree, they're already drying out. So, I don't know, but I've got these ones, and I've got a whole bowl, people, because what happened today, you'll see it, because this is the end of the video. We got a couple from the tree that we actually went to, right? But can you see the difference in size? This one here is suspicious, I don't know, but anyway, could it be an immature one? Do you see the difference in size? Completely different trees. Small walnuts, these ones are massive. So anyway, I'm going to have to do these right away. And there goes my stomach. So we've got, how many jars? Nine jars so far of one size pint applesauce. And because now I'm going to get into the plums, I had to dig out my chili peppers, which I've had for quite a few years in this jar. And every now and then, I come along and I fill up this jar. Right? So that's what I'm going to do. And since I was there in my other food storage, I came across these things, which at some point I'm going to take and I'm going to put some in jars for myself, and then I'm going to re-jar it and get it out of the plastic. And I'm going to put them back away where these ones are. Right? But I'm going to put them in jars because, you know, plastic, right? Leeches taste and crap. This is blackberry juice from 2018. That was last year's. So I'm going to take one of my new jars and put those and take out a few of these ones and put the 19 further in the back. And I pulled out some tuna from, these are ones from 2014, right? So we're going to do something with those. So basically, I'm going to end this video now with the note that Tisha Sierra is at the hospital. She phoned. And it's been confirmed she's there. It's been confirmed she's been drinking water and eating Jell-O and all that crap. So whatever happened yesterday seems to have calmed down. And I just asked Tisha to go today on her way out as she was leaving to pop in and see her sister, right? Because, you know, she's probably scared. I would be scared, people. So she's getting a visitor today, so that's good. It's probably better that I don't go to the hospital too much at this point. So as Tisha's in and out, she's working with me on that one. That's what I'm trying to say. So now I am going to wipe down the jars. I don't got much room left on my table here, but besides that point. And then I'm going to get into those plums, which is about 8.5 cups. And I'm going to make that hot and sweet plum sauce with this. I liked it, so I'm going to do it again. And something like that can sit in a jar for years and years and years if you don't eat them all up in a year. So don't stress out about it. As long as the jar doesn't pop, you're good to go. Right? And you did the canning to the directions in terms of the amount of vinegar and stuff. So, you know, we'll just round it off. Well, it's 8.5 cups or so, right? So that last recipe was based on 10 cups. So it's not rocket science, right? As long as you've got enough vinegar and enough sugar in there, the vinegar and the sugar will do the job. So after I'm done that, whatever's left in here, well, I probably won't use it all, but I'm going to attempt, because I still got apples here, right? I'm going to attempt to make a small jar of apple cider vinegar for myself. I don't use it very often. I really don't. This jar I've had forever, but it worked well with what I was doing with the plums. And, you know, there's things you can do with this. So I'm going to make some up anyway, so I'll do a video on that. That will be like the next video. We'll, you know how I roll, right? And as for the city, I had the camera in my hand, but I didn't turn it on to record the conversation. But they stopped Andre and I as we were dragging home that wood, just not too far from my house, right? And he goes, "Where did you get that?" And I'm like, "Well, we found it." "Well, are you sure? That looks freshly cut. Are you sure you didn't cut it down?" I said, "No, I didn't cut the tree down. I found the tree cut already. You know, it's a walnut tree." And he goes, "Yeah, I can see that." And, "Well, where did you find that tree?" You know, and he's all mad, right? And I'm like, "Well, this is kind of like where I found it. You know, you go that way, and you'll see a big pile of leaves." And so anyway, I said, you know, he goes, oh, and I'm like, "Well, I'm glad you care about the walnut trees around here." And he says, "Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do." He drove off. So I have a lot of trees growing now. My landlady wants a walnut tree, right? Like an English walnut. She's got a little one growing in her yard because her husband a couple of years took some nuts, so he must have put them in the ground, and she wants it transplanted, right? So, but I told her I've got some in pots, and like next year I'll give her, like, after it really, you know, settles down. So what I'm going to do, because these ones here actually grow pretty damn good, because I already have a few of them growing. These are the big nuts. They're quite big, right? That's the kind that I want to give to her, right? So I'm really happy because, as you can see, I got a whole bowl full. So I'm going to probably try and get these guys in the ground before fall. Obviously in the greenhouse where the squirrels and the raccoons and whatnot can't get to them, right? And then instead of putting 5 to a pot and then having to transplant, I think I'm going to try and make an effort to give each one their own pot, so that when they come up and I'm ready to give them away or whatever I'm going to do with them, they're not going to be disturbed. It will be easier to transplant them into the ground or whatever people are going to do with them, right? So I feel very blessed considering everything, believe it or not. I think what happens here, people, if you look at it and when you touch it, you know, obviously your hands get stained when you work with it for a long time. I mean, I've had people harass me, "Oh, you got black, dirty hands, you know, you're just a dirty woman," all this crap, right? Well, let me tell you something. I got a whole whack of walnut ink, black walnut ink powder. I just haven't gotten it in the nice little containers with the little, you know, decorations around it with the little flyers so that I can promote it with Andre's walnut art. I just haven't had time to do that. But I've got jars and jars and jars and jars full of walnut powder, ink powder, right? This isn't black walnut. This is an English walnut. Ideally, you want black walnut ink powder, but this will suffice too in terms of making stains and, you know, use it for art, right? So I'm not even wasting the rind. I'll be drying this and powdering it up. But I've got a whole whack of black walnut powder, English walnut powder, and now I've got about, I don't know, maybe 30 trees in there. But before I go, for the women that are watching my show, I have a show now, people. No, for the women that are watching my videos, right? Now, I'm real bad at writing things down on little bits of paper, and then if you've gone into my videos, you can see what my office looks like. I don't have a lot of room. The paper starts to get all mixed up, stacked up, whatever, scattered around. Tisha comes, you know, she's mad rush, moving this, hiding that, burying this. Oh, it drives me nuts. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I have to hunt around for the next couple of days, in the next couple, 2-3 days, for the address for the lady in, there's 2 ladies that are getting the book, right? There's the lady that wants the fish book. Now I'm a little stressed out here, so, That is Mystery's lady. She's a mystery lady, right? And then there's another lady. I'm thinking Kelly, but I don't know if I can. I'm going to get a book, to write in and keep track. And she gave me her email, and her email is on the paper with the address to mail the fish book out to. And the other lady wants a crock pot book, which I have up here. Plus, she wanted some walnuts. So it's probably better that I didn't send you out the crock pot book yet, because if you want walnuts, you want a couple of these ones. So I'm going to process these in the next day or two. I have to, right? And then hopefully by the 15th, 16th or so, 17th, I'll have these packages and boxes packed up, and I'm going to put them off to the mail, right? So I'm going to look for that little piece of paper, one with the address on it, because it should be in my papers. And also there's that email where I'm going to email you, and then, you give me your address, and these are the ones I'm going to be sending you. I won't be sending you with the husk. I'll husk them, I'll clean them, right? And then these ones, you'll get beautiful, beautiful walnuts growing. And I'll give you some smaller ones too. And then what I'll also do, but these ones, are a hit and miss because they're last year and they've been kind of sitting in a canner. Oh, we still have walnuts here, and I can feel them. And I bet you there's nuts in them because, one, they're cold. And when they're cold, that usually means there's something in them, and they have weight to them. This is this size. This size walnut. By the time you husk, I don't think it's this tree. I don't think so. This is a different tree that we got them off of, right? But you can see, right? By the time you take off the husk, this is what you get. But these ones are twice the size. So I'm going to give you two different kinds, right? And I think these ones, even though they've been sitting in a bag, in a canner, in the X Club all summer long, I think there's still nuts in them. Should we try it? I don't know. Let's see. See? This could have grown. I'll leave it out for the raccoons. It could have grown, people. So these things have been sitting in a bag. This is not black walnut. This is English walnut. There's actually quite a few of them in there. In a canner with a lid in the X Club all summer long. And you can see. And this is from last year. This is from that lonely tree, not too far from here. And you can see what happened there. It dried up. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's possible to get, and I'm going to end it on this note, I have still, from last year, when they cut down the black walnut, which is going extinct in the province of British Columbia, Canada, these ones. That's my warrior plant, my black walnut warrior. It grew another 6-7 inches. It's past the oak tree now. I'll show you. That's what I'll do. I'll show you, and I'll end it on that note. But these ones here, not everyone is going to catch, because first of all, when they cut down the trees last year, the nuts were too immature. They should have just left it for one more month, and these things would have been much more bigger. But I planted some, and some of them did catch. So when I send you off some of these big ones, right, I'll send you off a couple of the new ones, but I'm also going to send you off some from last year, okay? And I'm going to throw in some of these black walnuts, but you're not going to know until you get them into the ground. And I will talk about how to look after them and everything when I'm on my sewing table packing up the boxes again, right? But you've seen it. Some of these nuts, even though they're a year old, are still viable. And that's why they say, people, sometimes it can take up to 2 years for these things to grow. Now, if these ones were in the ground, they probably would have caught. But a walnut sometimes can take up to 2 years, right? They say if you plant 10 nuts, you should get at least 5. So I'm really hoping you'll get some black walnuts growing when I send them out to you, because these are the ones that are really going extinct in the province of British Columbia. The city dude was all upset that these guys are being cut down, right? Because I think what it is, again, we're getting immigrants coming over here that have a different mindset. They come from different regions. You know, they have different laws. They, you know, just whatever it is, ignorance, just don't care, whatever it is, right? So when they see something like this, and you touch it, and you smell it, and you go, ew, they see it as a nasty tree. But this is a walnut that has a whole lot more of that stuff in there. And if you've ever had organic walnut, oh, it is so, so good. So I think in part maybe that might be why sometimes they're cutting it down, because they see it as a nuisance, right? Versus as a blessing, when they should be seeing it as a blessing. Some people see it as a problem because they just want to cut on all the trees, build their houses, make their millions, and move on, right? And then they come along and they replace the trees that they cut down with ornamental trees, which is unfortunate because these are the trees that we should be repopulating. Okay, so anything else other than what I just said? I'm going to leave it on that. This is going to be a long video because, you know, clip, 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 right? And then I'm going to just get on with my business and probably start all over again. And, like, I'm amazed, people. I'm amazed that these things have been sitting in a canner in the X Club since last year. And they're still viable. Hey, isn't that amazing? So, what will be real amazing is when these get to the United States of America and this lady puts them in the ground, there you have to have the little pointy end up, right? Puts them in the ground, and if she gets herself a few little black walnuts growing with their friends, because the two protect each other from disease and they cross-pollinate. Oh yes, I was going to show you my warrior tree. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm using the battery and it's like right at the very end. Oh jeez, freaking hornets, man. It's because I'm always smelling like fruit. Do you see? Look at this. It grew again. Do you remember? It wasn't even, 2 weeks ago? There's that oak. It sprung up. But look what happened. That thing grew almost another foot. That is my warrior tree, people. And its stem has gotten bigger too. Like, hold on a minute. I'm like, look at it. See? Even the oak is still growing. Right? But look at the stem. Do you know that with a fully grown black walnut tree, the wood can fetch up to $10,000 to $15,000 just for one tree? That's a $10,000, $15,000 tree right there, people. My landlady, when she's ready to tear down this house, by the time this thing is done, she could pull in another 10 grand just with that one tree by itself if she lets it grow for the next 10 years or more. Well, maybe not 10 grand, but It grew a lot in a year. So this is my warrior tree. I'm just going to let it grow. And when it becomes a pest, then I'll cut it. But right now, it just needs to be free. Free, free, free. And these ones are popping up too. Look at that one. And you see, they do live in pots. They can. Right? Look, see? This one's got a nice stalk on it too, right? They don't like to touch things though. They move away. If you notice this is on an angle here, they move away. They don't like to touch things. Right? Per se. They really don't. But this one's coming along quite nice too.